Migration in Europe, Opportunities, Challenges, and Language Learning. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. We will explore not only the realities of immigration across European nations, but also how you, as a language learner, can use this topic to expand your English vocabulary and communication skills. Migration has been one of the most significant social and economic phenomena in Europe over the past decades. Millions of individuals, from students seeking higher education to professionals in search of better employment prospects, have decided to leave their home countries and settle in European destinations such as Germany, the Netherlands, France, and the United Kingdom. But let us pause here and reflect. What does the word migration really signify? It is not simply about changing your physical location. Migration implies adaptation, integration, and sometimes confrontation with unfamiliar systems. It requires resilience, the ability to face uncertainty, and the determination to succeed despite linguistic or cultural barriers. Now, from a language learning perspective, this topic offers a wealth of advanced vocabulary. Words such as integration, assimilation, multiculturalism, bureaucracy, economic prosperity, demographic shift, and cultural identity are all highly relevant to both academic discussions and IELTS-style examinations. For instance, if the IELTS examiner asks you about social changes in modern societies, you could confidently say, "One of the most remarkable demographic shifts in Europe has been the increase in immigration, which has contributed to cultural diversity but also presented challenges in terms of social cohesion and public policy." Notice how this sentence blends advanced grammar with precise terminology. Let's look at the reasons behind European migration. First, economic opportunity. Europe has some of the world's strongest economies, and many migrants are drawn to jobs in technology, healthcare, and engineering. Secondly, education. Prestigious universities in countries like Sweden, the UK, and France attract international students. Thirdly, political and humanitarian factors. Refugees escaping conflict or persecution often seek asylum in safe European states. Yet, migration is not only about opportunity, it also involves challenges. One major obstacle is the bureaucratic system. Obtaining visas, work permits, or residence cards can be extremely complicated. Another difficulty lies in language barriers. Imagine arriving in Germany without knowing German, or moving to France without basic French. Daily life becomes exhausting. That is why mastering English, which serves as a lingua franca in much of Europe, is such an advantage. And this is where our podcast turns into a learning tool. As you listen, I encourage you to practice shadowing. That means repeating the phrases aloud after me to improve pronunciation and fluency. For example, repeat after me. Integration into a new culture requires patience and adaptability. Try to imitate not only the words, but also the rhythm and intonation. Beyond language, migration raises profound social questions. How can societies maintain social cohesion when populations are so diverse? How do governments design inclusive policies that protect both the rights of migrants and the stability of native citizens? These are questions that European leaders debate every day, and they are also the kinds of questions that appear in IELTS speaking or writing tasks. Consider IELTS Task 2. You might encounter a question such as, some people believe that immigration has more benefits than drawbacks for European societies. To what extent do you agree or disagree? If you prepare vocabulary around migration, you will be ready to respond with sophistication. You could write, although immigration undoubtedly enriches cultural life and stimulates economic growth, it also generates pressure on housing and welfare systems. Therefore, governments must implement balanced strategies that promote integration while safeguarding social stability. Now, let's address the cultural side of migration. Europe today is a mosaic of traditions, cuisines, and languages. Walk through a neighborhood in London and you might hear Polish, Urdu, Arabic, and Spanish all within the same street. In Paris, Turkish bakeries and North African cafes stand beside French patisseries. This diversity fosters creativity and innovation, but it can also cause tensions if communities remain isolated. Hence the importance of intercultural dialogue, a phrase worth remembering for IELTS. As learners of English, you can practice describing such scenarios with high-level expressions. For instance, the influx of migrants has transformed European cities into multicultural hubs where diverse identities coexist, sometimes harmoniously, sometimes contentiously. This sentence uses strong vocabulary: influx, hubs, coexist, harmoniously, contentiously, perfect for advanced speaking. Let us also touch on the personal dimension of migration. Behind every statistic is a human story. A young woman leaving her family to study medicine abroad, a father working in construction to send money home, a refugee child adjusting to a new classroom. These narratives remind us that migration is not only about policies, but also about human resilience, sacrifice, and hope. In conclusion, migration in Europe is a multifaceted phenomenon: economic, cultural, political, and personal. For you as a learner, it is also an excellent source of advanced vocabulary and complex ideas. If you wish to improve your IELTS band score, I encourage you to engage with such real-world topics. Practice speaking about migration, write essays using terms like integration and multiculturalism, and above all, remember that learning a language is itself a kind of migration, a journey from one world of expression into another. Thank you for joining me on today's episode. Keep practicing, keep expanding your vocabulary, and never stop exploring the world through English. See you next time.